You ever get that feeling that the financial system is kind of playing a game, but you were never told the rules? Well, it turns out that's not too far from the truth. There are these hidden traps, everywhere from your local car dealership all the way up to the highest levels of banking. And they're all designed to make a profit from what we don't know. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and show you exactly how they work. Let's just dive right in with the question you've probably never thought to ask at the dealership. Is that salesperson just selling you a car? Or are they really selling you a loan? The answer, well, it might just change how you buy your next vehicle, for sure. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll uncover the hidden profit engine at the car dealership. Then, we're going to break down exactly how it works. After that, we'll zoom out to see a massive property scheme that, believe it or not, uses the same exact trick. And finally, we'll arm you with a kind of financial X-ray vision to spot these traps for yourself. Okay, so picture this. You found the perfect car. You've haggled, you've settled on a price, and now it's time to talk financing. The salesperson super eagerly offers to handle the whole thing for you, right there. I mean, it seems convenient, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder why they are so keen to have you finance with them? Well, of course, the industry has a name for this whole process. It's called indirect lending. And let me tell you, this isn't just about making things easy for you. It's a huge profit center for the dealership. What they're doing is positioning themselves as the perfect middleman between you and the actual lender, the bank. Okay, so let's follow the money. This is the part they definitely don't show you in the glossy brochure, and it all kicks off the second you hand over that credit application. So the dealer takes your application and zips it over to one of their partner banks. The bank does its thing, runs your credit, and sees you're a solid candidate. They approve you for a loan and tell the dealer, hey, this person is good to go at a 5% interest rate. Now, remember that number. That's the real competitive rate you actually qualified for. But here's where the magic trick happens. The dealer doesn't walk back over to you and offer you that 5% rate. Nope. Instead, they might come back with a big smile and say, great news, we got you approved at 7%. Now, that 2% difference, it might not sound like a huge deal, but trust me, over the life of a car loan, it adds up to a serious amount of cash. So you're asking, where does that extra 2% go? Does it all go to the bank? Not even close. That extra money, we're talking potentially thousands of dollars, is pure profit, and it gets split. The dealer often takes the lion's share, in this case a whopping 70%, for doing basically nothing more than marking up your rate. And the bank? They get a nice little cut just for playing along with the whole thing. So, how do you sidestep this trap? Look, the single most powerful move you can make is to walk into that dealership with a pre-approved loan already in your pocket from your own bank or credit union. It just completely takes away their leverage. And always remember, just like the car's sticker price, that interest rate they offer you is almost always negotiable. Don't be afraid to push back. Okay, so now that we get the basic idea, a middleman creating profit from a loan, let's zoom out, way out. What happens when you take the same concept, creating value out of thin air using debt, and you apply it on a much, much larger scale? Well, it stops being a personal trap and turns into a massive systemic loophole. And really, it's just two sides of the exact same coin. On one side, you have the personal trap, a few thousand extra bucks on a car loan. Annoying, but manageable. On the other side, you have the systemic loophole, creating millions and millions of dollars in fake property value. The core idea is identical, but the stakes, they're exponentially higher. So now let's look at how this principle gets weaponized into something far more dangerous. This is a property flipping scheme that essentially uses loans to build a financial house of cards, and the bank is sitting right there at the foundation. Here's the playbook step by step. First, the schemers buy a property for what it's actually worth. Let's say 1 crore, using a bank loan. Then, a few months later, they sell it to a buddy for double the price, 2 crore, financed by another, bigger loan. Then that buddy sells it to another associate for 4 crore, again with a new, even bigger loan. With every single sale, the on-paper value of the property just skyrockets, and the schemers are pulling more and more actual cash out of the banking system. Right about now, you're probably thinking, hold on a minute. How on earth would a bank keep approving these crazier and crazier loans? And that, right there, is the absolute key. This whole scheme only works because there's a corrupt insider, a bank manager who's in on it. They approve the loans, knowing full well the property valuation is a total fantasy. And all they ask for in return is their cut. So what's the end game here? Well, once they've siphoned out millions in cash through this cycle of fake sales and real loans, the schemers just default on everything and disappear. The bank follows its procedure and seizes the property, but the property they get is only worth that original 1 crore, while they are on the hook for all those massive unpaid loans they issued against it. So, you see, whether it's a few $1,000s on a car loan or millions in a massive property scheme, the principle underneath it all is exactly the same. It's about understanding the real mechanics behind the transaction. And this is where we can all develop our own kind of financial X-ray vision. Let's call it leverage awareness. Think of it as your own personal financial superpower. It's the ability to look at any deal and see straight through the surface. It really just comes down to asking 3 simple questions. Who holds the leverage here? How is value really being determined? And who is the one truly profiting from this whole thing? The biggest takeaway from all of this is to become a financial detective in your own life. You've got to question every deal. Always ask where the real profit is being made. Whether you're buying a car, refinancing a home, or just reading the financial news, seeing those hidden incentives is your most powerful tool. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. I mean, these are just 2 examples of loopholes that people figured out and exploited. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our incredibly complex financial world, what's the next big loophole that's out there? Right now, just hiding in plain sight.